All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in today. We're going to be continuing our price comparison tool. Now, this time we're going to look at the code, and what we're going to see this time is that I made a lot of changes while you weren't looking. So try to catch up, and I'm going to explain everything. I'm going to try to explain everything and go through it. And if you want to update your code to match it, if you can, so we can continue. The first thing is I have more dependencies now. So we already had Selenium in CSV, but now I've also imported OS and Traceback. Those are both default packages, so you don't have to install them, you just have to import them. Down here I have these three lines. We have path name underscore continue, path name underscore collected results, and file name underscore output CSV. This is the path to the folder. When I said in the last video that if you're gonna do 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 different scrapes, you want to be able to keep track of the ones that you've already done, the UPCs that you've already evaluated. So this is how we're going to do that. So I set my variable path name continue equal to continue / one.index. This is going to be the name of the folder that we're going to use for this program, and I'm going to give this program its own folder. So anytime I need to, if I got 20 programs at the end of all this, 20 different programs that 20 different tools that I'm using, and I have different output for each one, I want to be able to visually inspect the input and output or whatever of each program, so I keep it organized that way. So that continue is for continuing with the program. Collected results is for writing out output. So the same thing here. Then I have file name underscore output CSV, which is going to be path name collected results plus index.csv. Don't forget to put your / at the end of path name collected results, so that way when you do path name collected results plus index.csv, that it's in the folder. If you do this, then it'll mess everything up. So remember to add that there. Okay. Then on these two lines, what this is going to do is, if it is not true that the path name that we set up exists, then we're going to want to create that path. And if it is true that it exists, then just skip over it. So copy down these two lines, and it's going to be for path name continue on the first line, and then path name collected results I did on the second line. Next we have okay, I'm gonna have to figure out how to make a list of UPCs for you to download so you can do the video with me or something. Hopefully I can get that figured out sooner than later, or I guess you can also use your own UPCs, which really is the real goal, but for the sake of following the video I'll have to put them up for you to download, like on a GitHub or something. So my variable list UPC is a list comprehension, and we're going to do list UPC equals I dot replace X with an empty string and then dot strip. The reason I'm going to do dot replace X dot strip is because in my upcx.txt is the name of the folder, and I call it UPCX because it's got the UPC code, but the very first character is an X character. And the reason I do that is because in my CSV I always put that I put a letter with it, so that way it doesn't convert it in the CSV to like scientific notation or something like that. I don't know, whatever you call that. So I've got my list of websites, which is Home Depot, Walmart, and eBay. Then I added new columns. I added new column names, I think, from the last video. So the first one is UPCX, and then I grouped these so that it's a little bit easier to understand what you're looking at. So my first one is UPCX, and I just grouped it by spaces. And then I got title, 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 HD for Home Depot, WM for Walmart, and EB for eBay. Then I got price, price, price. Same thing, same order. You have to be absolutely 100% positive that you get these in the right order, because these are the names of the columns again, and if you mix match the data that's written with the column that it's written in, it's all kind of bad news, potentially. Especially if you don't realize that that's what's happening, you start making decisions based on that. So anyway, oh, and list UPC. So I.replace .strip for I and upcx.txt .readlines. And the reason that all this works is because that's this line all the way at the top, if I didn't say that. The reason why that works is because when you're writing a text file, you write the string that you want, and then you add a new line character so that the file will jump down to the next line, and then to the next line, and then to the next line, and so on and so forth. So when you read it in, when you do .readlines, it's gonna instantly create a list of these. This is gonna turn into a list when you do open .readlines on this file, but that new line character is gonna have X at the beginning, and then that new line character at the end of that line, which new line character is this right here. So you do .replace the X, and then .strip gets rid of the new line. Okay, moving on. So I already spoke about just copying this part down, where we have to write our new CSV. So actually, that's part of why in the last video I couldn't figure out why I only had so many results. I ran a scrape for 100 and only got 39 the first time, and then like the second time I only got 8 or something like that. And I think one of the reasons is I used my continuing concept, and what it did was it initially did however many you could get, and I think that I had my continue folder was already, there was stuff in the continue folder. I ended the program, then restarted the program for whatever reason. But what happened was, what I can see happened was, I started a new file. So we started a new file because of this, and it continued from where I left off, actually writing the last file. So however many got written the first time, it got erased, and it still continued from that same place in line. So what I'm going to need to do is do another if not. So we're going to say if not os.path.isFile. And the difference between os.path.exists is for seeing if a path exists, whereas path.isFile is seeing if a file exists. So we're going to do if not os.path.isFile, and then it should say file name underscore output CSV, I believe is what it is. File name output CSV. Yes, that is correct. So if that file does not already exist, then we're going to do this whole spiel right here. So we're going to indent that. And if you didn't see the end of this line, because it's a long line, it goes all the way down here and ends at as file CSV with whatever you call that character. I keep forgetting what it's called. So anyway, alright, now back home. Excuse me. Okay, now we're gonna run on down. We see web equals webdriver.chrome. We have our chrome driver.exe in our support files folder already. The web is the line where the browser is going to open up. And now here's where I also changed something. Last time we did just one UPC. Now we're going to do our list of UPCs. So all I had to do was take the code that we previously wrote, which was collect from the 3 different websites, and then all I did was indent it one time to the right. And I indented it one time to the right. So now we still have my UPC written into the URLs here, but we're going to say for my UPC and list UPC. So now it's automatically going to cycle through my list of UPC codes and then run that scrape on all of them. Now, earlier in my very first video, I said, oh, this is going to be so much faster than everything else. Using Selenium is not going to be so much faster than everything else. One thing, I have to choose, like, I'm looking through the comments in some of my other videos, and there is stuff that people want to do that I don't want them to do. That I don't like the ideas that a lot of people are coming up with. There's nothing that I can do to change that, but I don't want to teach this so that people can start going out and stealing stuff and etc., and so on and so forth. So I'm trying to be careful about the things that I teach. Now, if you make this program and if you decide I don't want to use Selenium, I want to use requests, and I want to burn through this list of 1 million by doing concurrent requests, you know, on these 3 different websites or what have you, that is your choice. You can do that. That's fine. But I will not show you how to do that. The point of this is more for people who are not trying to do a bunch of crazy analysis, but rather they're trying to make some money in their own pockets by utilizing their own tools. So anyway, so that's the kind of stuff. Just some of the like. There's a lot of different ways to optimize everything that you're going to learn in all these videos that I'm not going to go over because it's more complex, number one, and again, it's going to be giving away a little bit too much information, I think. And again, if you decide that you want to do it for yourself, you want to put in the work and the time to find it yourself, then go for it. But I just don't want to, oh, hey, here's how you blow up the internet for everybody that wants to see it and whatever. So anyway, so all right, I wrote for my UPC and list underscore UPC, UPCX equals, now we're going to re-add, why did I do that? Why did I re-add UPCX? Oh, because I want these 2 different things. I want UPCX and I want my UPC. So why did I do path name plus UPCX? I guess I don't need that for real, but whatever, we'll go with it. So the first thing is we set UPCX equal to X plus my UPC. Then we did if os.path.isFile path name underscore continue plus UPCX. If that file does exist, then we're gonna continue. If you don't know what continue does, basically it does not continue to the next line, but rather it continues to the next iteration in your loop. So if it is true that I've already made the file, if I've already written my continue file to say that this evaluation for this UPC has already been done, then skip that one. And what's going to happen is then the line after that, you're going to say print UPC and then my UPC. So what this is going to do is this is going to skip over all the ones that you already done, and then once you get to the ones that you haven't done, then we're going to print them out. And so under there now we've got the code I think that I've already written. Oh, but I did change something here also. We have a try and accept now. Now the reason I did that is because pretty much any time you're sending a request, you always are going to have the possibility that you're not going to get a response because your internet is out, or because the server that you're sending the request to is out, or you're getting cut off because they don't want you scraping their website, which is likely to happen with Home Depot, by the way, unless you do some different changes. Excuse me. So be careful with how much you scrape Home Depot. If you're going to do 1 million items, you're going to get blocked. So just read into it, look it up, whatever. So anyway, there's all these different reasons why we have to do a try and accept, because if you send your request and you get an error back, what it's going to do, it's going to end the whole program because you got one error on one UPC, and then you let it run for a day, and you come back and you find out that program has stopped running, and because of something dumb. So we're gonna wrap this in a try and accept. So this is all the stuff we already wrote, I believe. I don't think I changed anything. We got price double underscore numbers, description, price. Oh, I think I changed this, price underscore home, because this is what happened. I forgot to take out the $, and I also forgot to take out the potential comma if something is over $1,000. So I price underscore Home Depot. This is the part where we get it from the HTML tag, this whole line, and then underneath it, I did price Home Depot again equals price Home Depot dot replace, all that stuff. Then just print out Home Depot, print title, print the price, and in our accept, we're going to write traceback.print underscore exe with your parentheses at the end of that. And what this is going to do is it's going to print out whatever the exception is, whatever the error is, but it's going to allow us to continue to the next, continue looking up this one product. So if you get an error because you can't find this, if it can't find the description, it's going to go to the exception. If you can't find the price, it's going to go to the exception. So I guess title, that don't make sense to put it as 0, but whatever. So if you get an exception, it's going to go there. So you want to figure out for which exception, what do you want it to do? Do you want to just skip to the next item? If it's not on Home Depot, then I don't even want this product. So you can say, accept continue if you chose to, or usually what I do is I first print my traceback print exe, then I do continue. But if you remember, continue is going to jump to the next iteration in the loop, which means every line after continue is not going to run. So, but what I'm choosing to do is not continue to the next iteration. For me, it's more important to go through all the items, and even if it's not available on one of these websites, I still want the results. I don't want to just exclude that product. I want to see the results for that, because I might find out that I excluded the product not because it wasn't available on the website or whatever the case is, but instead because there was some error that I did not realize. I was sending the wrong whatever, and I got rid of 6% of all my total whatever, which could, again, if you're doing 1 million, 6% getting rid of it because of errors is, obviously still a whole lot of stuff. So we did our try and accept for that, and then I set my title equal to 0 and my price equal to, these are the string zeros, so that way it'll write it out in our CSV at the end of the line. The same thing for Walmart. We've got our try and our accept, so all you do is do try and then indent the rest of the block. I don't think I changed anything in this one except for that. It's really the same as the one collecting Walmart is the same as collecting Home Depot and everything else. So I believe excuse me. Okay, I do believe everything is still the same. If it's not, please inspect your code and compare it and add lines that may be necessary. So I know I've got my listed eBay page prices, which is the price on eBay of every item on that page in a list, and then I took out the money sign, took out the comma for every item in list page prices, and I got to list eBay number prices. So now I know that they're just not price tags, WebDriver objects and HTML tags. Now I know it's an actual number. It's a number price. That's why I named it list eBay number prices. I got my page average, sum divided by the length, and then my price. I just renamed it, I guess, price underscore eBay equals page average. And then again, that's wrapped in a try and an accept. And you always want to print out the error. It's not gonna look real pretty when you get this big old blob of red error crap going across your screen. So you might be tempted to get rid of that line and just skip over it, which I usually do after I know I'm not getting any errors that I care about. But it's good to keep it there when you're doing your own analysis, because again, if you do a million things and you come back and find out, wow, all these items suck, I wonder why. Well, if you look at the errors that you got periodically over this scrape, you can see all the different little things that happened throughout that time. So anyway, now my next little block, we're going to do a little bit of math, and might not be too good at math, but we're going to give it a try. So first thing I did was I set my list site prices, which is the float price of the 3 different websites. And now what I'm trying to do is, I don't know, let's see. So list site prices is I for I in list site prices if it is not true that I is equal to 0. So I converted everything to a float first. So if it wrote it as a string, if it wrote it a string 0, because I got an exception on any of these, then it has now become regular 0. And if it does not equal 0, then we don't. If it does equal 0, we don't want it in our list of site prices right here. So, and then price underscore cheapest prices is list sorted. List site prices, and then until 2. So this is going to take the first 2 prices, which is going to get in sorted order. Sorted by, let me see actually. Okay, let's say LP is going to be list, and I'm going to have 987. Okay, no, 9879. I don't know. All right, let's say sorted LP. So yeah, it sorted it in lowest to highest order. I didn't know. Okay, I guess that makes sense anyway. So what would happen is if I say, give me this list until 2, so that's just going to give me the first 2 elements, the 2 least expensive elements. So if there's a price for all 3 websites, one's $19.99, one's $19.98, and one's $50.99, it's going to just give me those 2 cheapest ones or whatever. So, okay. Now we've got cheap 1 is the price of our first element. So price cheapest price is at index 0. And then cheap 2 is our second element, which is price cheapest prices at index 1. Now our cheapest site is going to be our cheapest site is the name of the website that has the least expensive price. So we're going to say that's cheapest site equals list websites at index list underscore site prices dot index, and then in parentheses cheap 1. There might be an easier way to do that possibly, but this is what I got and it works. So what this is going to do is when you say list underscore site, let's look at that. Well, I don't guess it matters too much, but we got LW equals, we got list for list websites is what that is going to be standing for. So LW, we got HD for Home Depot, Walmart, and then EB. Okay, and I said we got list websites, and then LP, a new LP is going to be okay, 364. Okay, so if I do LW at index LP dot index, and then whichever one I previously chose as my cheapest price. So if I put the value here, I think, yeah, you put the value, so 6 is index 2. So what it did was it said, okay, I need index 2 of this list, and it gave me WM for Walmart or whatever corresponding website that's going to be. Now we're going to try, we're going to do this on a try and accept to get the cheapest price. We're going to cheapest 1 divided by cheapest 2 is going to give us, I think, I don't know, it's just going to give us some decimal point number, and I'm going to sort by that decimal point to cheapest percent cheapest. Oh no, that's going to give me what percentage of this number is this number, I think is what that's saying. So if I got $19.98 is my cheapest price, and the second cheapest one is $19.99, then this is the answer to this. The output of this is gonna be like, it's gonna be that percentage, but it's gonna be like 99.9 whatever. So the lower the percentage is for the outcome of this variable, the greater of a difference there is in between your less expensive website and the least expensive website and the second least expensive. So when we sort by that, we can say, okay, who's got the biggest price jump? Who's going to give me the best opportunity? Which product might give me the best opportunity to make the most profit potentially by going to one website versus another? Try that and then accept it's equal to 0. And what might happen is, if your cheapest price is 0 because of whatever we put in earlier, then I don't know. I think that's what that is. So if the cheapest price is 0, you're going to get an error. It's going to say you can't divide by 0, or division by 0 error. So we're just going to set the variable equal to 0, and we'll see that in output. And then dollars cheapest is just the dollar amount difference in between the two cheapest items. So now the next batch of code, we're going to save our output to CSV. Remember, we're going to do this block as append, and then we've got our list item details, where UPCX, just like on top, we've got all the same variables written in the same order. Did I not write these 3 at the top? Am I tripping? No, they're there. Yeah, so cheapest, PCT cheapest, and then that's percent, and then dollars underscore cheapest. So to make sure to include those, I'm not sure. I don't think I put those in the last videos. So, all right. So then we got our list of all our things. So that's going to be the output of all the variables that we acquired. And with open, all this stuff, this is the same exact batch of code from earlier, except again, with this is a letter A instead of a W. You're going to find out the hard way if you put a W here. So anyway, I hope you already know that. So save that as A. And then the very, very, very last line you're going to want to do is you're going to write your continue file for this UPC. The reason why you want to do that very, very last is because if you write it at the beginning or anywhere else in the code, and then you get some sort of error and you don't actually complete that UPC, then the next time your program goes to look for it, it's not going to find it because it thinks it already did it, but the output for that UPC will be incorrect because of whatever error you got. So you never want to put your continue write file piece of code, you never want to put that anywhere else other than pretty much at the very end, so that you know that the code completely finished for this UPC. This is once again, if you're doing 1 million products, you're going to find out that you got really bad data, a really bad output because of things like that. So you have to be careful with that also. You have to be very careful with this whole concept. I think there might be an easier way to do this. I haven't really been able to figure one out other than that so far. And when you're actually doing 1 million, if you're actually doing 1 million items, you will find out that it becomes difficult. It increases the difficulty when you have a ton of stuff. So I think that's everything in the code. So what we would do is, let me go into my folders, and so my continue and my collected results, I can actually just delete those. And then since this, I'm going to delete them because since I'm running my program over, it's just going to I've already deleted everything, so it's just going to reinitialize everything. But that's not a good practice to do for real. You really want to go into the continue folder and then delete the specific output of that program that you want, because if you delete the whole continue and then you've got data for 5 or 6 or 50 programs in there, then you've gotten rid of your save data for all that stuff. So like Pokemon Silver, when you thought you were about to beat the game and then the battery inside the game died and you got to start over, that. So Alright, so I think if we run this right now, you'll see that it will initialize those new folders right there. Well, maybe you won't see it just because all this crap that jumped up on the screen. But, so this is everything running. So we started with Miss Muffet's Revenge again. And it's going to cycle through all these from website to website, UPC to UPC. And I'm sorry I don't have my list of output, my CSV of output to go, my actual CSV of actual output to go over. I will do that, another very short video going over that, because I don't want to sit here for however long and get all the data for that. But there's going to be lots of different errors. I'm actually not going to realistically, I think, be able to show you how to handle every error, because there's so many different ones. Depending on the website, there's going to be a lot of different things that are different in between the websites you're doing, the difference in between products that you're doing, and there's going to be so much different stuff. So the way I'm hoping that you can find it acceptable, that I didn't necessarily show you exactly how to make your own top-notch, top-of-the-line tool, but I do believe I at least helped lay the foundation so that you not only understand it, not only can do it, but also understand it, and everything, I guess. So I'm trying to think, is there another reason for me to, do I need to go over anything else? Well, we see these are our different errors that are coming out. So as this program continues to run, you know, like I said, you're gonna see a lot of different errors, and some of the errors are because you did something wrong. Some of the errors are because the product is not available on the website. The benefit of watching the program go while it does that is you can, kind of see that. So that's $15.65, so it should work. So whatever this is, $15.65, same price on Walmart, interestingly enough. You know what? Who's selling that? Oh, I already missed it. Well, let me actually just stop this. So that was silly. Okay. So the more important thing here, more than the thing that you're going to get out of this, more than just a bunch of good numbers, a bunch of good products, you might say, the thing that you're going to really get out of this whole program is the understanding of why some things are the way that they are. I just copied this UPC. I'm about to look at the difference in between Home Depot and Walmart, because in the last video I was saying, oh well, Walmart is much more expensive on batteries than Home Depot is. I wonder why. And we saw that there was some name of a seller, so I didn't know if it was actually Walmart that was selling it or some sort of drop shipper or what. But that's the kind of insight that you can get when you use this code. So this, it doesn't say sold and shipped by some other third-party person. So I did not know that until making this video just now. Even though I've done all kind of scraping on Walmart and stuff like that, I did not know the difference in between a product and a product that's sold by Walmart and one that's not. And I can see now the reason why that price is the same is because they're not trying to make a bunch of money off you. They're not trying to jack the price up. And that's going to help you have a better understanding of, do I even want to use Walmart as my source? Their prices are changing. They've got these third-party people who are asking too much, this, that, and the other. That's the sort of stuff that this is going to help you understand when you look at your output, when you look at your different errors, when you compare the prices and the titles in between each other. Again, you can look at the price at eBay and you can make the assumption that the reason it's a little bit higher here, this is the average price, is because people are drop shipping that product from probably Walmart and they want to make X amount of % off of it. So really what you could also do is, hey, I want to see who else is drop shipping. So let me type in that product and get all the sellers who came in the results for that. And now I know that every seller here has at least one product that they're drop shipping off the bat. So if you got 500 different guys who are selling this thing, you can determine, okay, there's X amount of sellers. Is this a product that I want to sell, or is it not? based on the number of other people who are selling it. You can also say, okay, there's 500 other sellers that I know are drop shipping at least one item. Let me see everything else that they got. What else do they have that might be drop shipping? What are some of the good selling recurring products? Then the next question is the product a good seller because it's a great product and people just happen to like that product? People are hopping on the internet all day, every day because they want Sunjoe surface patio cleaning? Or is it because of the keywords of that product? Is it because it's summertime and people are looking for surface deck cleaning stuff? So any product that might have those keywords associated with it are good products, not necessarily just that UPC. These are the kinds of things you're going to find out when you run these programs and evaluate your output. So like I said, this is going to be the last video, I think. I may or may not add another one to show the actual output, just depending on how long it takes me to work through all my everything, I guess. And because it'll give you a little bit better insight also. But if you look at the last video that came before this, if you have not already, you will see that I went over the output and showed you some of the very important insight that you'll get, more than just whether or not this is a good product. I showed you some of that insight, and it helped me figure out, hey, I need to make a lot of changes in this code because all the stuff that I thought worked does not work. So anyway, okay, that's the end of this video. Please give me a like, a thumbs up, and a subscribe, and I hope that you will be present for the next tool, which should be a good one. Let me see here. It's gonna be I don't know, just look at my channel and you'll see. I guess I got all these different things I want to do. I'm starting to write some new ideas, so but the next one I said, I don't know, we'll see. Price comparison tool, and then I thought my outline. So I said the next program should be get the sales history of an item. So really what we can do here sorry, I guess this ain't the end of the video yet, but what you can do is not just make this price comparison tool, but rather integrate this price comparison tool with other tools. Use it as a decision maker, red light, green light, to do further analysis. So if I use my price comparison tool and I say I don't want products, if it's not for sale on my source website, then I don't want it. Let's skip over it. Then you get that sales history for all the products that you do want, which is our second tool. So now that you've gotten the price comparison to understand, yes, it's available at my source, yes, it's at a good price, yes, something or whatever, I guess, now you want to find out, yes or no, there's a good sales history for this product. Possibly might be your next tool. And then the same thing, and so on and so forth. So we're going to do that video next, and I hope you're present for it, and I hope you like this one, and I hope I didn't ramble on way too much. So thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.